Hey, what's going on guys? This is Software Developer Life, episode 4. And in this video, I just want to give 3 small bits of advice that I think could be helpful, all right? So these 3 pieces of advice all kind of contribute to how we're perceived as engineers. So I think it's kind of relevant to both startups, big companies, even academic life. Remember that 24/7, 365 days a year, we're always being judged by people around us. And what exactly do they form their opinions around? Well, it's exactly what comes out of our mouth and what we type on the keyboard. So how exactly should we be perceived as engineers? Well, there's a huge list of stuff, right? We should be smart, intelligent, well-organized, clear-headed, write code well, write documents well. There's a huge list of things that we need to do, and it's up to us and our own image to make sure people think of us that way. Okay, so I have 3 points related to this theme, and let's just start with number 1, all right? The first point is pretty simple, and it's just do not talk too much about yourself. You wanna be a listener more than you wanna be a talker. Learn about people, ask insightful questions, and really only talk about yourself when you're really prompted to. In a perfect conversation, maybe you and another person will have 50-50 about how much you each talk about yourselves. But if we had to choose, you should always choose being more of a listener than more of a talker. Why is this helpful? Well, if you listen more, it automatically makes you more likable, I promise. It also trains you to ask good questions. And remember, I always say this, but asking questions is really like the lifeblood of an engineer. And when you start listening to people more and figuring out where they come from, you start kind of training yourself to ask more insightful questions and get to know them a little better. So that's point number 1. It's really easy. Just err on the side of listening, ask good questions, and don't talk about yourself too much. The second point revolves around how we write emails as engineers, or how we write any kind of digital message. Emails reflect how we think, so they should be clear and to the point, right? Because we're engineers, or we're just clear-headed people, everyone. Emails need a relevant subject line, and they must be very direct and to the point. Be very clear about who you're addressing. Make sure you give them just enough but not too much context, and also be very clear of what you're asking. Always read your emails twice. Kill all the fluffy words. Make sure it's proofread. Write your emails like you write your code. Short and sweet and to the point. Another thing that used to really tick me off that I want to bring up relating this point is when we direct message each other over chat. People used to always message me saying, "Hi, Dave." They would message saying, "Hi, Dave," with 0 context and expect me to respond. This is really annoying. When you message someone, do not just leave them at a greeting. You have to greet them and also ask them directly what you're looking for. Let's just go over a quick example. You could either say, "Hi, Bob," and then leave it at that. Or you could say, "Hi, Bob, I was just working with the new logging system, and I knew you had developed the most recent Python client for our logging system, and it's not really working. Do you think we could debug it together?" When you send a message like that, you give Bob immediate context over what you need, and he'll have almost all the information he needs, maybe almost all of it, to give you a great answer right up front. And it just saves him and you a lot of time. Remember that besides everything that comes out of our mouth, every time we hit the keyboard, every time we produce any type of digital text, it also contributes to people's image about us. And I don't have to go through the laundry list of things that engineers need to be perceived as, but remember, everything contributes to it. Okay, third and last point about this revolves around meetings and when you should talk at meetings. For anyone in the workplace, not only engineering, but if you could name one place where people will form some opinions or judge you, it's probably at one of these meetings. One cool thing that you can do at a meeting is not talk right away, but just wait and try to gather everyone's sentiment around the room. Oh, so that manager over there, he's super stressed out because the deadline is slipping. Oh, that engineer over there, he's falling asleep. That other engineer over there, he's really mad because we didn't use his style of coding. And oh yeah, there's a VP over there who's super impatient and just wants the big picture ideas. Obviously, you don't say these things out loud or somebody would probably smack you. All you have to do is just think quietly to yourself and get people's sentiment around the room. What are they thinking, or what do you think they're thinking? Once you kind of realize what other people are worried about around the room, you have a lot more leverage with providing value because you know exactly what you could do to give them immediate value. If you speak right away, you can't gather everyone's thoughts around the room. That's why speaking right away is really tough. If you just wait a little bit, take a step back, gather your thoughts and gather the sentiment around the room, you'll be much more effective in any meeting. All right, guys, so those are just 3 quick points about how to really present yourself as an engineer to help how you're getting perceived. We went over how you can really talk. Remember, be more of a listener than more of a talker. Second, it's how you write digital things. Make sure your emails and messages are always to the point. And third is just remember, speak well at meetings and gather the sentiment of everyone in the room before you talk. Hopefully this video was helpful. Remember, you can't always control how people are going to see you, but you can always do your best by paying attention to details. But in the end, some people are going to think you're really cool. Some people are going to think you're a douchebag, and there's nothing you can really do about it. All right? So hope this was helpful, a little bit fun, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Drop me a comment or a like, and as always, take care.